I'm gonna answer it if I can. Like if you ask something that's like, yo, that's really good, and I don't know the answer, I'm not gonna fake answer. I'll be like, that's really good, I don't know the answer. Yeah, I'll try my best. Okay, you ready? Yes.
I have a question.
Please. No question! I'm playing. Go. I'm playing.
Let's say professor is teaching, right?
Yes.
Or you are having a conversation with somebody.
Yes.
And you are listening. You don't pay attention.
Yes.
So what makes you do that?
Listen but not pay attention? Well, that has a lot to do with focus. Honestly, we're a society that in general does not put a big emphasis on focus. So a lot of times, literally what I'll tell myself is, like, The Rock says this on Instagram a lot, and I kind of incorporate it. I was like, focus! Like, I'll scream it at myself because my mind is like a freaking, it's crazy, it's wild in here. It can't stay. So I have to tell myself, focus. So a lot of times they're either speaking in a tone that draws your attention elsewhere, like monotone, or the syntax, like they're putting structure together in a sentence that's hard to follow. And so you just go, what's Cardi B doing, right? So I kind of say focus. What am I trying to get? What don't I understand? Like I'll ask myself questions until I'm locked in. So you can control your thoughts. Very important to draw it. So I think it's not about understanding why you wander, just know you do, and your goal is to bring it in. That's why like Tai Chi, like I did earlier meditation, is super, super important. Okay? All right, now, first column. I need you to make 4 columns on your piece of paper. Turn it landscape, please. Okay? Turn it landscape, make 4 columns with a line at the top. So we're gonna put the titles in here, and you got 4 columns, okay? 4 columns. So just take your pen, draw 3 lines, and then 3 vertical lines, and then 1 horizontal. Okay. So it'll look like this. 1, 2, 3. It's not pretty, but that's kind of person.
Everybody signed?
Did everybody sign in? If you didn't sign in, please sign in. If not, a puppy will get murdered. You don't want that on your conscience, so sign in. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. 4 columns. 3 lines vertically, 1 horizontal at the top. Got it? Any questions? 1, 2, 3, 4. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Wonderful. Wonderful. Got it? Wonderful. Now, in your first column, I would like for you to put big goal. Now, don't fill it in just yet, just write the title. Now again, I said Jessica helped us with this earlier. Big goal.
Oh, big goal.
Goal, yeah, goal. G-O-A-L. Goal. Now you kind of did this earlier with Jessica, so you're ahead of the game, which is fantastic. Okay? What I want you to do is I'm going to give you a framework around this goal, so it's the most important goal. I want you to look at your life right now. Your actual life. Not a hypothetical life you should have. Not what you would hope in a fantasy world, like your actual life. Think about the people in your life. Think about what food you eat. Think about what classes you're going to be taking. Think about your actual life. Now, I want you to think, if there was only one, I was about to say Pacific. Specific. Pacific is the ocean. Specific is the thing. One specific area that if you improved on this area, it would have the greatest positive impact in your life. Right now. Not 20 years from now, not when you were 10 years old, I'm talking about right now. If this one area improved or changed in a positive direction, it would have the biggest net positive effect in your life. Again, you can go back to that postcard that you did with Jessica and pull from there if you want to. Okay? That's a question? No. No? Sure.
I got my thing,
Good.
but it was my aha.
You got it? Beautiful. Write it down. Okay? So, right here, I want you to write down whatever this big goal is, okay? Please write it in the positive, not in the negative. So don't write stop eating junk food. That's not what this is. It has to be in the positive. So if you're stop eating junk food.
Let's be honest, no one can stop eating junk food even if they
Junk
try.
food is delightful, let's be honest. Like, Cheez-Its, love it, right? So anyway, you want to write, so if you stop eating junk food, what are you going to eat instead, right? Like eat vegetables or fruit or lean protein like chicken or something. Yeah.
Can you help me turn no more procrastination into a positive?
Okay, so if you're not procrastinating, what are you doing?
Working.
Productive.
Being productive.
Okay, being more productive is what specifically? What area? So being productive, this is good by the way, I'm not just wishing it.
Zoe.
I'm not just talking to Zoe, I'm talking to everyone, okay? Being productive is super important. What I want you to do is get a little more specific. Which area of your life, if you became more productive in, right now, would have the greatest positive impact in everything? So think of it as a big domino, that if I were to knock this domino over, it would be able to, like, so many other things get knocked down as well. So which area of your life would you like to be more productive in?
Schoolwork.
Okay, tell me about that.
I procrastinate on my schoolwork, and then
What does it look like when you procrastinate?
I'm like watching TV, hanging out with friends, and then
There's 1 in the morning, you're like, damn it, I gotta write a paper.
Exactly. Yeah, I start my paper that's due tomorrow.
Okay, got it. So you want to be more proactive and productive with your schoolwork. And if I came to you 6 months from now, and you were like, oh my gosh, Rel, I'm so proactive and productive with my schoolwork, you would feel like, oh my gosh, life is significantly better than it has been. So yours is proactive and productive in your schoolwork. That's your big one. You have a question? I was just doing like a, yes! Yes, sir. What's your name?
My name is Dick Warren.
Dick Warren, what's up, brother?
This kind of falls under procrastination spectrum.
Yes.
Finding a deeper meaning in everything that I do, like finding a deeper meaning, and those are things that I do that better focus on the outcomes.
So what category of life do you feel like if you found deeper meaning in right now, it would have the greatest net impact in your life? Which area, like, because that's a very big thing, right? Because I could find meaning in school.
Doing it because I
Okay.
procrastinate with work and everything.
Do you find yourself, and I'm going to ask questions because I don't know the answer, you do. Do you find yourself taking classes and you're like, I don't know why this is relevant, why do I have to take it? So when you say I got to find a meaning, I want to understand that. What does that mean for you in schoolwork?
Like you said, like if I'm taking a business course, like why am I taking this course? Like halfway through it, you know, it kind of dies out.
So then do you check out then from the class? What happens when you...
Well, I complete everything.
Okay.
I try my absolute best to stay as focused as possible through the process because I don't want.
So then why is that the area that is the most impactful for you then? If you're doing your work and getting it done, that sounds like that's not an issue.
It's a terrible feeling that I don't have. Like even even being in high school where like
Yes.
being in high school is terrible. But like it's something that everyone has, I have to push myself to complete.
So you're doing it, but you don't enjoy the process.
Yes.
So you, okay, and again, don't let me put words in your mouth, okay? If I'm hearing you, what I'm hearing is, I'm gonna get it done. I just am gonna hate the whole thing.
Essentially.
And if I have to do it, I'd like to find joy or more joy in the work that I'm doing.
Exactly. I think you're reading as to why I'm doing it, so that it can propel me forward.
Now, where does that meaning come from?
That means
When you say find it, it's got to be somewhere for you to find. Is this the teacher explains it? Is this you discovering it? When you say, I need to find the meaning, where would you like for that meaning to come from?
maybe it would be from, like, I don't know, where I want to be in terms of.
Are you clear on where you want to be?
Yeah.
Where you want to be?
Okay, so.
If you know where you want to be, you can get a path to get there. Right? So where do you want to be?
In life, I don't know exactly. I'm trying to figure that out.
Okay, that's fine.
Now.
It's totally fine. So for you, and again, by the way, I'm not just talking to David. Does everyone know this feeling, by the way? Trying to figure out what you're supposed to do, not sure how to get there, but trying to find meaning in today.
Mind you, I'm young, so like. Yeah.
No, that's the rest of your life. I'll give you a little hint for anyone who's struggling with it. Welcome to the rest of your life.
Yeah.
The key is not to think that this goes away. The key is to learn how to swim in that water, right? Because what happens is people try to get out of the water. You can't get out of that water. You don't have to need to know what you're doing for the rest of your life. You just need to know what you're doing next, if that makes sense. Okay? And what happens is, by the way, I know people super successful, financially, family, and they're like 60, and they're still trying to figure out what they want to do with the rest of their life. So if you're in that boat, it's a very normal part of this thing called life. The key is not to say it's bad. The key is to swim it. So for you, Is Daquan, did I hear that right? Yes. You're trying to figure out what is this end goal, and therefore how do I create meaning today so that whatever I'm going to, I'm more focused in it versus kind of like maybe you're just going in any direction because you're not sure where you're going, right? So I think maybe, and let's talk about this a little bit, maybe it's not about finding the meaning in the current things, it's about finding what's your next step after this. Because if you knew what that was, you'll find the meaning today, right? Like if I go, I want to be an entrepreneur. That's why I decided in college. I want to own my own business. So then everything was filtered through this lens of how does this help me become a better entrepreneur? Everything. Whether it was a class that had nothing to do with entrepreneurship, how does it make me think better? How does it make me understand people better? How does it make me, and this is big by the way, this is big. Take a class that sucks, that you hate, that has nothing to do with your future plans, and find a way to still enjoy it. That, my friend, is life. That's life. That's every day.
I took my first year of college
Yes.
statistics, match my...
If you can find meaning in that, you have mastered life, in my opinion. If you can find meaning, what I do is I'm in a boring class or a boring lecture. I don't like it. I have decided this has nothing to do with my future. Now what I'm doing is going, how do I find something that still makes sense to me? How do I control my thoughts so that boredom doesn't win, but my focus wins? It becomes a game for me. And I promise it, whatever you find, whatever you look for, you'll find. I know you have a question. You're kind of raising your hand. What is it? What statement?
It's not a question,
Yeah.
back to what you said about plans and things.
Yeah.
It's cool, like many people have like their goals already set or they have any plans, but like I actually my way of think like it doesn't matter like how many plans you have or where you're going. If you know that's great, but life you don't know what life where you're going to
Absolutely.
life and
Life is one step at a time. It's a one step at a time process. We like to think it's there it is, and I'm gonna go walk to it. I've actually found that you go there it is, and you start walking to it, and because you started walking to it, something else opens up.
yeah.
And then that actually becomes the real thing. It's almost never, I don't want to freak y'all out too much. I almost never find someone who what they studied is what they work in. Almost never. Not like it's impossible, but what happens is they go on a journey, and then on that journey, something else uncovers itself, and because they were on the journey, it uncovers itself, and now life happens. Right? That's what I found. You can have a different story. So for you, going back to you, Daquan, it may be less about finding meaning in it, and more about getting clarity in what you're supposed to be doing with your life next. Right? Because if you're like, all right, I'm leaving here, and I'm going to, and again, you may change it, but you may say, I want to become professionally a psychologist, okay? So everything I do is how does this help me become a better psychologist? How does this experience, maybe it has nothing, and this is big for me, this isn't a rel thing, but it could become a Daquan. Maybe what I'm talking about has no relevance to your life, and the only thing you're trying to do is control your thoughts so that you listen to what I'm saying even though it has no relevance. Because when you're a psychologist, your patients are going to talk a whole lot of like meandering, like you're not going to know what they're talking about. They're going to come in and be like, I have this problem with my husband. Tell me about your husband. Well, when I was a child. And it's like, whoa, wait a minute. You're over there. We're trying to get over here. And that's going to be your life. You know what I'm saying? So like you have to be able to say, even if someone's meandering, how do I focus? So maybe that's all your goal is, and that's how you find meaning in a boring class. But I would argue, and again, don't let me put words in your mouth. I want this to be from you. If you were clear on the psychology thing, clear on it, would that help you today, or do you feel like, I know I want to do that, so that's not the issue? What is it?
I feel like what you said before about me being on that road, right? I feel like something else will come up, and I would possibly pursue that. Like,
Totally possible. But for now, the road you're on is psychologist, right? But you don't seem excited about it.
or like, or like counseling, or
It's okay. That's okay. So I would argue that, have you spent time with psychologists? Like,
I've spent time with like counselors. Like,
have you spent time with interned or worked with them or like interviewed them about their careers?
no.
Okay. Well, I would encourage it, right? Because a counselor and a psychologist may seem the same. I'm not either. May be different. But I wouldn't know. The only way I would know is like you go into it. So I would argue that maybe your big goal is like getting more clarity in your professional pursuits, right? And again, you don't have to have the answer You just need to know what you're working toward. Because if you're saying you're a psychologist and everything is filtered through the lens, how does this help me become a better psychologist? How does this help me get there? But you can't, and here's the thing, I'm gonna say this to you, but I'm saying it to everybody. This is the trap of college. It's the sucky part. Because when you go to college, everyone expects you to have things figured out.
Exactly.
You don't. So here's what happens. You get this question. What you studying? What you want to do with it? And in reality, what you really want to say is, I don't know. They just told me I was supposed to be here, so I showed up. I'm here. That's the real answer, but you know what we said? I'm going to be a lawyer. Because it shuts people up and they move on. It's okay not to know. It's okay not to know. That's the whole, this is a discovery process. It's not an end goal. So what happens is you come in here and people go, oh, what's your major? I don't know what my major is. And then people are like, oh, you went to college, you know what you major. They don't know what they're doing with their life either. Don't let them get you. But you know what? This process is an uncovering. I learned that I wanted to be an entrepreneur in college. I was studying to be a lawyer. Right? I finished that degree, by the way. The undergrad, not law school. I didn't go to law school. Undergraduate degree, I finished. But once I discovered I wanted to be an entrepreneur, everything made sense to me. But I had to go on this path of being a lawyer, which led me to discover that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. So I would encourage you to get more clarity. Your big goal is like if all you did this semester, because you're going to get your work done. That's what you told me. You're going to get it done. But if you could leave this semester saying, I'm going to have clarity on what direction I want to take next in my professional career. Like if it's psychologist, it's psychologist, not psychologist. You know what I'm saying? If you can get clarity in that, and I'll show you how to do that. If you had that clarity, I would argue you'd find more meaning in everything. Because for me, everything I do helps me be a better entrepreneur. Right? Does that work for you? Does it?
It makes sense.
Okay. Do you feel confident in it? But you're giving me the I'm not confident thing, so I'm fine with that. We can work on it.
We'll talk after.
No, I'm not. I built the rest of our time so that we have enough time to do this, because what I can promise you is what we're doing right now is probably more valuable than anything I could tell you. Because what you're going through, raise your hand if you can relate to what Daquan's going through. You're helping all these people right now, so this isn't about you. You understand? So let's go through it. When I say these things, what's showing up for you that's causing you to be like, yeah, but it's okay. Tell me what it is.
Like when I was in high school, when I graduated, I was like, oh, I want to be in psychology, the field. And then I was like, okay, maybe I should be a counselor. But then being here and taking courses in different areas like digital design, music, and even like starting a dance club. And I didn't even know I could dance until like 2 years ago actually. And then like I started acting as well because I took an acting course, and now I get to go to England to perform, like during the summer coming up. So I'm like, there's a lot of things that are going on.
Okay. See, it gives me a lot more clarity. You're stuck with the whole, and the safe job is a psychologist, but maybe your passion is moving you in a new direction.
Yeah. For a career, that would be the psychologist route, counselor route.
Yeah.
Can
I ask you a direct question?
Yes.
I go, yo, congratulations, you just got accepted into the most prestigious graduate program for psychology. Option B is, yo, you get to tour the country with this Broadway show. Which one are you taking? That's a good question. That's a good question.
Okay, I feel like the Broadway show would be much more fun, and like I'm living life like with people and everything, but like just career and you know. I feel like I'm more creative.
You have a Caribbean family?
No.
Where's your family from?
Here.
Here, just American shit?
Yeah.
Okay. That's a very Caribbean mindset you have right there, by the way. Like, choose a career over your joy. Any Caribbean people here? That's a very Caribbean thing, right? You be a doctor, shut up! Engineer, move on! I don't want to do that. It's very Caribbean. I'll tell you a funny story. So when I started being an entrepreneur, and I was doing I wasn't like great, but I was doing my grandfather, God rest his soul, he passed away, he's Jamaican. And my uncle, like he's living everything. They would like I was doing and they would be like, yo, the postal exam's coming around. You should take the exam to be a postal worker. It's good benefits. And I was like, yo, I was just an 830 under 30 entrepreneur. Like, I'm not great, but I'm good. But then for them, it's like, yo, safety. Like, yo, you got to take this safe route. So even though your family's not Caribbean, I'm just saying it's a very Caribbean philosophy they have. So you should find out if there's some Caribbean roots back there, because it could be in the DNA, right? But you're stuck in a very common situation. That situation is there's this safe, stable decision that makes sense for me to take. But there's this other path that lights me up. When you said dance, and I'm going to England, you lit up. Anyone who was watching him talk, you could see it. When you said psychology, you was like,
You be dancing all the time.
I'm just saying, it's an observation. I just met you, so I don't know. I could be totally wrong. I'm just saying, what I observed from you is when you talked about dance and touring, you lit up.
That was a great observation.
What's that?
That was a good observation.
Yeah. So you actually, I think, are more strongly stuck in the, what direction should I take? Because here's the thing. Dancing, acting, music, it's like the toughest industry.
Yeah.
Like literally, in America, it's the toughest. It is. There's no way around it. You know how many, like you're in New York. You know how many people want like to go to England and tour? Millions. Millions. So you gotta understand that's the word you're getting into. It's a scary world. Because you can't half-ass that world. You just can't. Like you can't. So you're stuck in a position where you have to make a decision of where you're gonna put your full energy into. That's a very common question, right? Like we all get that world. So I think you can benefit a ton from spending a lot of time of one, getting clarity on what really do you want to put your energy into, right? And two, dealing with who will you let down if you do change directions. Because someone's going to get let down. You got to have that conversation. That could be more scary than everything else, by the way. And I don't know, not any truths. But telling your mom or dad or brother or sister, hey, I don't want to be a psychologist anymore, I'm trying to pursue this dance thing. That conversation alone kills 50% of careers before they even start. You know what I'm saying? So
I think it would be more of myself that I would probably.
In what way?
I would probably let myself down, to be honest.
tell me why.
Because like if I do the psychology thing,
Yes.
you know, and I feel down about it later on in my years, you know, and then like, you know what? I should have done this. I should have done that. Regrets everything.
I'll give you a quick rubric, everyone, how to make decisions. And by the way, I know it seems like we're spending a lot of time on this. Without clarity, none of the other things make sense. Okay? Here's a very easy way to make a decision. Easy, but not simple. Simple. Going to the NBA, it's simple, not easy. Sorry. Going to the NBA is simple. Know how to put the ball in the basket. Is getting into the NBA easy? No, right? You look at two decisions and you say, if I chose this decision, what regrets would I have that I didn't choose this one? If I chose this decision, what regrets will I have that I didn't choose this one? Whichever one has the higher, more unforgivable regrets, that's the one you go towards. Most people try to look for what are the benefits. If I do this, what are the benefits? If I do this, what are the benefits? It's actually more powerful if you say, what would I regret if I did this and not that? What regret if I did that and not this? And if you have a regret that's like, and I tell you the other thing, again, I can't tell you what to do with your life. Dancing is a young man's sport. Psychology is an old man's sport. You're young right now. Take that into consideration. Yes?
For people who got degrees, I got an associate's already in electronics,
Sure.
right? The industry of the job market, sometimes, most of the time, demands more jobs. Okay, we need security, we need nurses, we need, sometimes people think, oh, you got an associate, why you don't have that great job? You got that associate. So how to change this meaning? Degree is equal to be successful.
It doesn't. I don't know why we say that. It doesn't.
But you know,
Degrees don't mean nothing. So what you do with it that matters. Context. Yes.
Right. So I found my contest. Okay, I like to help people. Okay, let me have the student who's struggling with math, right? Or tutoring them. So, because you know, employers, they need, oh, you gotta get that degree they need, you don't qualify. So how do you relate the outside world versus the world in college that says the degree matters? How do you change the perspective?
Well, the perspective, I would say it looks like this. There are certain careers you cannot get without a degree. I can't be a nurse without a degree in nursing, right? So if nursing isn't my future, I have to get a nursing degree. Unless I illegally work, right? Which is not a law, right? People do it, right? So you have to decide, okay, if what I want to go into has this prerequisite, then you got to get the prerequisite. There's no way around it. If you're just talking about general degree to job, right? Like that's an internal dialogue. Because that's the expectation of, well, I have this, I'm supposed to have that. And if you can operate through a lens that says you're not supposed to have anything, because you're not. None of y'all supposed to have anything. Y'all just got free lunch. You ain't supposed to get that. But we walk around like we're supposed to have free lunch. That's why people ain't happy. Oh, I tell you what, look, you know what, people ain't grateful. When Jessica made you write down stuff you're grateful for, it's so powerful. You don't get how powerful it is. Because everyone walks around like you're supposed to get stuff. You're about to get an etiquette dinner. Look at all this fancy stuff behind you. You ain't supposed to have any of this. You ain't supposed to have great speakers like Jessica here. You ain't supposed to have none of this. You have it. Wow! Oh my God! If that's how you operate through life, like, you'd be like, I got a degree! Whoa! I'm at a winter workshop series in 2020 in America! Wow!
Yeah,
Like, that's how, like, if we operate like you're not sad anymore. But the way we operate is I'm supposed to have all this, but I don't have this, and the thing I don't have makes me upset. That's 99% of operating humans. We focus on what we don't have. Versus walking around like, wow! I got friends! I can text someone right now and they would text me back! Wow! Wow! Right? But we don't operate like that. We operate like, how come I'm not friends with this person? Or I don't have enough followers? Or how come this person, like, so like, I would encourage you, it's more of an internal dialogue that you need to work on. And I think what Jessica said about writing gratitude, like she goes on walks and goes over gratitude, I would encourage you to start there, because then you'll realize that that outside chatter should not be as, oh man, we're gonna go super deep with it. Okay, I'll go real quick. Okay. This is like high level, so if it gets too confusing, we might have to move on because it's hard to explain. It would take another hour. Your negative internal dialogue is not your actual voice. That was a voice that was given to you at a young age from someone else.
Say it again.
Okay. The negative internal voice that you have isn't actually your voice. It is a voice that was given to you at a young age from someone else. Think about how your negative voice sounds. It doesn't even talk the same way you talk. You gotta observe it though. This is the ability to observe thoughts versus move away from thoughts. When I start talking trash to myself, and by the way, like I'm an excellent trash talker to myself, probably all of you are pretty good at it too, right? That voice doesn't even speak the way you speak. It has a totally different syntax. It has a totally different tone. It's literally, it's not even your voice. What happens is the brain of little children are so impressionable and so just spongy that at some point someone like yelled at you and talked bad and said bad things to you, and you imprinted that tone and that voice in your head, and that became your internal voice. And the thing is, you actually think that's you. And that's the thing. You walk around operating like that voice is actually your voice. It's not. And if you can understand it's not, you can catch it. I gotta catch myself all the time, because what happens is the voice sounds really convincing, like it's me. And I start thinking it's me, and I go, nah, it's not. So I'm Jewish, right? So in Judaism, there's this thing called the Yetzer Hara, right? In Hebrew, it means the evil inclination. So, and again, whatever your faith is totally cool with me. Like, you could totally hate Jews, that's fine with me, I love you, it's fine, right? But in my tradition, what it says is that there's something called the evil inclination, the Yetzer Hara, and then there's a good inclination, the Yetzer Tov. Other traditions might call it the good wolf and the bad wolf. I think in Native American traditions, they have that, like, and it's everywhere. It's not like my tradition owns it. But basically it says the Yetzer Hara is not you. It's this evil inclination that's been put inside of everyone to trick you to do these things, and you believe it. And once you realize you don't have to believe it, man, it's freedom. You don't know what freedom feels like until you realize you don't have to believe your own thoughts. Because you operate thinking, because here's what happens. When you think the worst, this is the other, okay, gosh, we're going so deep in this. Okay, it's good, it's important. The worst thoughts in your brain, you believe are the most true. The worst, most negative thoughts, you operate as if it's the most true. And in reality, it's literally not even you. We could do a whole presentation on this, by the way, but we can't. Yeah? Yes.
Then let me give you one thing.
Yes.
So you said the negative things is the most valuable thing, right? So let me tell you something. If I became like insulting you or say something to you like in bad or negative way, you will take it because you want to impress myself, not to yourself, but
Yeah.
if I say you're not good at doing this, right?
Yes.
Then you want to try to impress me and saying, oh, I'm gonna do this because this person believes I'm not like.
Yeah.
But the thing is if you really trust yourself and everything, as you say, like, it's not true, the negative thing is not true, you won't follow.
That right there is the meaning of life, my friend. If you can separate those two thoughts, if you can separate the thoughts and realize, and by the way, don't believe me on any of this, just test me. The next time you really like, anyone under 18 in here?
No.
You are, okay, I won't curse, right? If you really crap on yourself, like the next time you emotionally or like thought process crap on yourself, if you have the ability to go, would I ever talk to someone else this way? That's not you. And in psychology, there's like id, ego, superego. There's all these levels of like conscious state. There's a lizard brain. Like you go on, like there's really fascinating stuff, honestly. Monkey brain, all that stuff, right? If you start realizing that's the monkey brain, the lizard brain, like not you, the Yeats of horror, whatever the heck you want to call it, holy crap, you can stop it. And here's the thing. People say, how do I stop the negative voice? This is how you do it. You realize you can never stop it. And if you realize you can never stop it, but you know it'll never go away, then it's your friend and you can live with it. But people try to say, why do I think like this? I don't know why the brain is, I can't tell you why it's operated this way. It just is. And if you don't believe me, look in your life and just see how it shows up all the time, that way. But if you can go, yo, that's not even it. So I literally have to cancel I know this stuff and I still fight with it. I know I spend almost all my time reading about stuff like this. And I still deal with it. So imagine everyone else who doesn't spend their time thinking about it. Okay? So I gotta go, so what I do, okay, I'm going so super personal here, but just bear with me. I believe in God. You believe whatever you want to believe in. No judgment, right? I like to kiss those thoughts up to God. Like I literally go, I can't handle that right now. That's what I do. You take it. Your shoulders are broad, you can, mine can't.
Yes.
So when it starts going, and for some reason that like thing, it like interrupts my brain. So I can like stop that thought. Because if you don't stop it, woo, it's good, isn't it? You start feeling like, dude, super quick. And if people ask you how you doing, you go, good. I'm good. What's up with you? You literally were just like, I'm the worst person in the world. I'm crappy. Mom and teachers for my life. How you doing? Good. We gotta move on. I'm so sorry. Okay. So anyway, go back to you, Daquan. I think clarity. You gotta decide. I think in clarity. Go back to you. I'm sorry. We want attention. I think it's clarity in knowing which direction you actually want to go in right now. Because what I'm hearing is lack of clarity. There's the direction, but the clarity in that direction seems muddy. Now you could do both.
Yeah.
There's no reason. Like I don't want you to think I'm saying choose one, but just know that effort you're about to put in. Whatever you think you was putting in before, you ain't put in ever yet. Because both of those things take a lot of energy. Not impossible. It's doable. So maybe you just go, look, I'm doing both. I'm gonna be the most amazing dancer, most amazing actor, whatever. And then I'm gonna be the dopest psychologist that ever existed. Watch me work. But you gotta get clear on that, because if you're jumping back and forth, you're giving 50% to one, 50% to the other. I think it's possible to do 100% to both. I do. But you have to decide. So I think you gotta get clarity on that. Talk to dancers, talk to psychologists, examples. Okay? Believe me. Is that good for now? Alright, does everyone have their goal? We got 3 more columns. Okay. Everyone have their goal, yeah? Does everyone have their goal? Yes. Does anyone need help? Yes.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
The timeline.
I'm talking about right now in your life. So if you're saying graduating is the most important thing, you have to make it about today. Unless you're graduating tomorrow, which I don't believe you are, right? So the goal can't be get my master's degree. Because if you just have your associate's, your master's degree is X amount of years away. I'm talking about what's going to have the biggest improvement in your life now. Right? So it might be a class, it might be your schoolwork, it might be something that gets you to that goal, graduation, as an example. But it's got to be the biggest improvement in your life now.
The goal has to be the biggest improvement in your life now.
The goal we're working on right now has to be a goal that if you improved on it right now, it would have the biggest positive impact on your current life. This is super important. Current. Yes.
I'm disturbing and interrupting that negative talk.
Good. Oh, you're just throwing it up?
No, I am. That's what I'm doing.
I appreciate it. Throw it up. It could look like a hand raise. So, what was your goal that you wrote down originally?
I haven't written anything.
Okay. So look at your life. Look at it. What if you improved on it? Like when you think about the thing you beat yourself up about the most, or you feel most upset about, or you're most excited about, it doesn't have to be negative, it could be positive, but what's the thing that if you improved it, and you were good at it, or you did it, it would have the biggest positive impact currently?
I'm trying to figure out the right word to say.
Don't try, just say it. It usually works that way.
I don't want to say work ethic because I think I really did improve that last year. I have been out of school for a while, and I came back in the spring, and I just decided that I would, get better at school because I've never been good at school, and I did achieve that last year. But I don't know. I guess doing more. More quality work. Like I think I'm getting there.
There's something you're not saying that you don't want to say in front of everyone. What is it?
I don't because I don't really know exactly how to say it. I want to say like I want to just do better quality work.
What's that mean?
Like
how would you know if it was more quality?
I don't know. I feel like I haven't been challenged, like in writing, for example. Like I want to improve my writing skills.